chrome, man.
Break you by.
Hey, why ain't y'all take the clothes off, take the rack up, take the clothes off?
Just an idea.
Welcome to Tracy's
Getting all this shit.
Looking good for mine.
You know, that was all iron.
It was.
Yeah.
Make that short. Hang on, we got this.
filming this shit?
There we go.
Oh. Did you get it?
No, man, we got this.
Oh,
Ow.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Teal's Roadhouse. Thank y'all for being with us. Cherie Kilchrist is in the house. So she is a stylist, wardrobe consultant, and part of the theme of what we're trying to do is add some depth to the music industry and showcase some people that do other things on the peripheral outside of the recording artists and the people that make the music and stuff in Nashville that are a huge part of everything that we do. We have to look good.
Yeah.
And you make us look good.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start off by letting people know a little bit about yourself. You're a Cajun. You're from Louisiana.
I'm a Cajun.
You're a Cajun.
Yeah. True
Cherie.
Cajun. Crawfish.
Cherie.
Crawfish all the way.
Yep. 'Tis the season.
Yeah.
Have you had any yet this year?
I have.
Yeah.
Last week.
They're actually good size this year.
Oh my gosh. Well, I had some friends from Louisiana bring some down.
Yeah.
Huge and so good.
They're like little baby lobsters.
Well, I see you have a sign up down the road, and I was going to call, but Logan was driving too fast. So.
Now he's he has moved up here from South Louisiana,
Oh,
and
okay.
I haven't known him to bring crawfish up, but he will go down every couple of weeks, and I think he services some of the restaurants with like grouper and snapper and different.
Well, he
things.
said crawfish available and call a number.
Did he? I hadn't
Yeah,
seen
I was
that.
going to get the number on the way
I
out.
hadn't paid attention.
But if he's from Louisiana, then it's legit. I could
Oh
call
yeah,
him.
he's legit.
Yeah.
And I've had his gumbo. His gumbo's really good. That's a good sign of
Yeah.
how good of a Cajun they really are.
Well, next podcast, when it's cold and you have me back, I'll
Yeah.
bring gumbo.
Ah.
Yeah.
So what all do you put in your gumbo?
Well, I'm not a big cook,
So you're gonna bring it from somebody.
but chicken and sausage only.
So no,
Yeah.
no
Gumbo-
okra. No, you're not. You don't do any of that stuff.
No, I don't know.
That's not really Cajun,
no,
is it?
No,
Yeah.
just chicken and sausage
Yeah.
and your seasoning and yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty bland.
Should bring some from your neighbor up here.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
No, I'm telling you, it's good. Trust me.
So how often do you go back home?
Actually, not that often. I should go home more, but my parents come down here, and I just don't go home.
You're working all the time, though.
I'm working, and I feel like I travel other places if I'm going anywhere, and yeah, I need to though. I need to.
So the work that you do in the music industry is very important to a lot of people. How did you find this path into where you're at?
It was a long path. Basically left Louisiana. I'll give you like the shortest version.
No, give me the long version.
The long version? Well, I always wanted to leave my hometown, and I always wanted to be in fashion, but I didn't know what that meant or what that looked like. So I always thought you just have to go to a big city to do that. And luckily, I had a best friend that she started an internship in California. Basically, I graduated high school. I went to a fashion school in Dallas.
Yeah.
Then I went to California, and I just started working my way up. My personal assistant to someone in the fashion industry, met people, started doing any kind of job that I could do, basically just to get my foot in the door and survive in California.
What were some of those early jobs?
So I was a personal assistant first
Yeah.
for Sharon Stone's sister. And she had a fashion company called Scene Again. And she repped a couple brands and would place those on TV and movies and stuff like that. But I still was so green to the fashion industry. I mean, all I thought was I go to fashion school and then I become a buyer and then I own a store. Like that was my extent of like what you did in fashion. I didn't know. I still like I was, small town Louisiana. I mean, I really didn't know what it looked like to actually like get paid to play dress up and dress people. And my thing was to like make them, I always like to make people feel good about themselves. And I just loved clothes. So anyway, I worked for her as a personal assistant. So I got to see stuff and got to go into doors I've never even dreamed of and, be on movie sets and TV sets. And I was like, what is this world? And then I would see, the wardrobe department and just be like, wow. Like,
So did you do some things? You know, a lot of
I did like marketing. Like I worked for Ed Hardy. Do y'all remember Ed Hardy?
Oh, absolutely.
I worked for them and I did marketing for the swimwear brand. And then my friend was a designer and we would do like trade shows in Vegas and Miami and just.
Did you do set work? I mean, because every movie set's different. I mean, if you're on a Western, it's a completely different thing. So
set work, like costume design and wardrobe styling, is like completely two different worlds. And I thought I wanted to go in costume design, which would be more of like set work and work like you're a costume designer for one specific TV show and you work like that show.
Yeah.
And it is like, it's almost like a corporate office job, to be honest with you.
Pretty cut and dried and bland.
Yeah, and it just.
Did you do any
wasn't-
stage work, like work at theaters and stuff, or like any plays or any productions
No.
like that? Yeah.
I just kept getting my foot into every door that I could and learn and take in and see. And I just always knew where I wanted to be. And that just kind of kept guiding me. And then I started assisting stylist in LA.
Yeah.
So that's where you kind of have to get started, do whatever. Like the Devil Wears Prada movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's just what I did.
I got you.
That's what I did.
So how did that lead you to where you are here?
Well, Nashville was only supposed to be for a year, and I was just coming to visit. I was just young 20s in LA and, you know, assisting, but I was in a different mindset. And my friend was like, let's go to Nashville and try something different for a year. And honestly, I look back and I really had no idea what I was doing. I don't know why I left, why I walked away from the hustle of getting to the top of styling in LA and assisting and, you know, wanting to be that stylist that's like in the Hollywood Reporter.
Oh, yeah.
And
the energy and the
like
whole
that's
vibe of
where
things.
I was trying to go.
Yeah.
But instead I was, you know,
So-
I was just a wildflower.
Are you a seamstress? Do you do any of your own designs? Did you ever dabble in that when you were a kid, playing around with fashion?
No, I always was interested in it, and some like the extent that I would do, I would always get like I could never really like afford fashion or what I would see in magazines and stuff. So I was always creative. What I would either go in my mom's closet or go to like a vintage store and just kind of cut the bottom of the dress, make it mini, put a belt around it, accessorize. And, you know, I'd always get compliments. Oh, you look so cool. And I was like, it feels so cheap. Like,
Yeah,
you know, it was like, but I felt good and I was creative in that aspect. And I always liked, it was never about money in fashion or having the top designers. It was just about like looking cool.
So you had to be inspired by Madonna and Material Girl, because that's just I mean,
gosh.
tell me about it.
I mean-
I mean, that had to kind of, was that one of the things that kind of lit the spark in you? Or was it there before that?
Honestly, the spark was always there.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. Like, I feel like that's all I knew. I was never interested in anything else. Like, my friend and I were best friends. My friend is a stylist too, and she moved here from LA recently. And we were friends since first grade. And since first grade, we always just liked playing Barbies, playing dress up, talking about fashion. You know, makeover movies started to come out and we were like obsessed. And then the movie Clueless came out and I was like, done. I'm done. Like that's my life. Like I don't know what else to do. Just always into fashion and clothes. I really didn't know anything else. And it wasn't music videos really that got me inspired. I think it was just like my friends, real life things, magazines, anything, a TV show like Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah.
I just loved.
Who was your first country artist that you dressed?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think it was Jason. Well, she's not an artist. She's a wife.
That's okay.
It was Jason's wife.
Okay, Brittany.
Yeah, I actually met her in LA before I even moved here. So my kind of going back to kind of how you asked, there is a seniority stylist that is in town, but he retired, John Murphy. Do you know John
the
Murphy?
name. I've never worked with him, but I know the name.
So he was with like Rascal Flatts for like 13 years and Jason, the beginning of his career and everything. And I actually knew him from LA. So when I came to Nashville for a year, I called him up and I was like, come into Nashville. We don't know anything. I knew zero. Grew up in Louisiana, moved to LA, thought I was going to New York. Tennessee was never on my radar. I had no idea what was happening here. I grew up on country music, loved country music, went to California, became this like little Hollywood kid and lost track of my roots.
Yeah.
So when I came to Nashville, I called him and he was still with Jason and doing all his things. And I'd met Brittany in LA and he was like, well, come help me. Like, come under my wing in my studio and it would be a great addition to like start helping the wives. You know, you're coming from LA, you know, the showrooms, you know, design, what's happening, what's hip, you know, and you can just be with the wives. And I'd already known Brittany. And so that kind of happened. And I just fell in love with this town and the energy and working around just this community of people who kind of, they're just a community.
It really is.
You know,
It's there's much more camaraderie here than I think there is in the other genres of music. It's really
Yeah.
different here, and
It's special.
and really in the '90s there was so much more. I mean, before Music Row got decimated like it has been. I mean,
I wish I would have been here. I mean, I don't know how old I would have been.
music it was great in the '90s.
I wish I was styling in the 90s. Oh my gosh, that's everything.
You know, there's as you look at the fashion in the music industry, obviously the nudie suit was a huge thing, and then obviously Manuel had a big part in that as the nudie kind of changed, and I guess he worked with nudie early on, whatever the designer was that did all that early stuff. I think he studied under him a little bit. If you had a chance to work with Manuel at all, obviously Manuel's way up in age at this point, but that's a whole different style.
That the first time I was introduced to that world was actually in California, and my old boss that I was working with was doing a project. I think it was for Jennifer Nettles.
Yeah.
Actually, Jennifer Nettles.
She was probably doing the coal miner's daughter at the time.
I don't think so. I don't remember what it was. This was probably like 2008-ish, 9, maybe 9, 10. And the stylist that I was working with in LA started working with her. Love her. She was a gem. That was my first. Yeah, but we went to a family member, and there was like archived pieces in California.
Of like nudie suits
Yeah.
and all the stuff that the family had worn for years.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Just remembering that, actually.
those things they're so very. I'm Marty Stewart, and there's no telling what his collection of those suits are.
Yeah,
He's got tons of them.
Insane.
So you know, I've been around the fashion world a little bit. I've never been to a runway show or any of that kind of stuff on a professional level. But how do you get networked into those designers where you have access to new things? Because obviously new designs, things are coming out. When an artist gets ready to go walk the carpet and they're doing an award show or they're doing a big event, nobody wants to look like anybody else, and you don't want to look like you did last year, the year before that. So how do you network those relationships? Everybody's trying to get in the door with those people. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's basically, I mean, it's building those relationships, but it's also that designer has a target list of who they want to work with too. So they already know. And so I think the worlds are a little different in country music about that. Like these designers, it's hard to explain, but it's over years of building these relationships. So you know who the contacts are for these designers, or you can reach out to them and, you know, you just tell them your project, tell them what you're doing, and you see if it's a good fit. And you kind of know with like each individual artist that you're working with, like who you're going to reach out to, because you're not going to want to reach out to the same, you know, say I have like 3 guy clients. I'm not going to reach out to the same person for all 3. You know, so you kind of just see what their vibe is, what designer they mix with, and you just reach out and see if they're interested in working together.
Yeah, and country is so diverse. I mean, if you watch an award show red carpet, I mean, you've got everything from Versace to Armani to you know, as some people focus more on accessorizing and don't care as much about the clothing aspect of it. Some people are more into the cowboy hats and the fancy boots.
Right.
Some people just don't give a shit.
There's a lot of not giving a
There's
shit
a lot
these
of not
days.
give a shit these days. I'm saying.
Not like the 90s. No, just kidding.
Yeah, but there's some people that really do care, or that really
do.
want to look.
Well,
that fashion is a big part of. And there was a time where outside of the nudie world, it was probably more of the female artists that did. But I think it's across the board with everybody nowadays.
I think so too. I mean, you know, men, you know, your men that do the cowboy hats. You make sure like they're nice boots, whether it's a round toe, a square toe, with their suits. Like it's, you know, there's I have red carpet boots, and then I have stage boots for my artists.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so that's kind of the accessorying for men. You know, women can get a lot crazier, but
You know me. I don't. I'm so unflashy. I don't give a crap.
but for you though, like for styling, it's not about. I mean, it's like you said. You're like, oh, I want to wear a tux. Okay, well, you still have to have a fitting though, because you're not going to just walk in the store and go buy a tux and it's going to fit you off the rack. And then it's basically I bring the store to you. My
Yes.
tailor's here, and it's about getting the right fit. You know.
Because you want to feel good, and if it don't fit, it don't feel good.
No, tailoring is one of the most important parts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so you've got your network of all those people, but you don't sew. You don't
No.
cook. You don't sew.
My gosh, no. And
tough
I'm
questions.
from
All
Louisiana.
these tough questions.
No, and I grew up with a family of sewers. My grandmother, my great grandmother made every piece of clothing, like phenomenal. I don't know what happened with me, and
You still had a love for it, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
Appreciate
I
it.
did. So I just had a different, you know. And sometimes I look back and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I was the first one to get out of town and kind of pursue these dreams that I know a lot of my family members had. That's kind of cool, you know, and to actually make this a career.
So, the energy in Nashville at this stage of your career, do you miss L.A.? Do you miss not taking that step to New York? Because that's a whole different scene up there too.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the best communities, and me to have live a life
A
of
balance and have a family and everything.
balance, a life of purpose, be close to family, and actually work with people who appreciate you, and you appreciate them, and you know, there's just a lot more community here.
There really is. So I know Jason kind of has his own style. Did that get started with the person that you worked with before, or did you kind of start evolving him into that direction? Because he's got his own unique thing. A lot of people have tried to copy him, but
Yeah.
he still kind of stands apart by himself.
I mean, Jason Aldean is Jason Aldean.
Yep.
You know, when he has his hat on, the jeans, and the wallet chain, you know it's Jason Aldean.
Yep.
You know, so I don't think I've ever as Jason Aldean having a stylist, some people are like, oh, well, what do you actually do, you know, for Jason Aldean? And I think he might have come out the womb with that style.
He had a wallet chain with him when he was born.
I love him, and I will say this to him.
I get
But
it.
I'm pretty sure he did. And I mean, that's a very good question. But I think, you know, he's branded himself as Jason Aldean, his hat, all the things. And I think me coming in, after John, who did a great job with him and then retired, me coming in is just, you know, I kind of bring to the plate a little more rock and roll vibe to him, you know, a little
Yeah.
more of the harder chains, and I push him so much to do his black boots with his black hat, and you know, stay to be with all the hard
Edgy.
metals and edgy. So I bring in more of the rock and roll, but of course I'm always going to keep his palette of Jason Aldean. When I travel, I with all his wardrobe in my carry-on, I make a Jason Aldean carry-on. So if all my luggage gets lost, I can at least make him Jason Aldean. I have the hat, one shirt, and one pair of those custom jeans that are fitted perfectly, and boots.
Wow.
You know?
That's a lot.
No,
You know? You
my
gotta
job
you gotta-
job could be way worse. Okay.
So how many artists are you working with at this point?
Right now I have, I think 5 or 6, or 5 or 6.
All extremely different from one to the next?
Women, men,
Everybody in the industry?
yeah.
Yep.
Everybody is in an industry. I don't work in anything outside of country music really anymore, unless I get a call to do so.
That's probably a full plate for you, though, isn't it? I mean, that many
Yeah.
artists, especially when it comes up. So, peak times of the year. Obviously, you've got ACMs, CMAs, CMA Music Fest. What are your big times? Are there anything outside of that I'm missing?
No, I think there's not really big. It's just when, you know, someone has an album package shoot, you know,
Photo
or
shoots and all that stuff.
photo shoots and stuff like that. But music videos, you know, because it takes a while to prep each person. And if each person has a job going on within that month, I mean, all your weeks fill up,
Yeah.
you know? But yeah, mostly country music, and
So let's talk about Louisiana culture. Let's kind of change gears.
yeah.
So what do you miss about it?
What do I
I
miss?
love Louisiana. I got so many friends there, and we've talked about this before
Yeah.
as we've worked together over the years.
Man, I just miss how like easygoing, slow paced they are, you know? But I can only last for 2 days like that.
No, you know my
I
favorite.
love the food. The food is my absolute
but that's
favorite.
that's not good for you.
Well, that's true.
It's just not. And my favorite thing about Louisiana is
What is it?
drive-through daiquiris.
Oh my God.
It's the only state in the
yes.
country
Yes.
that you can drive through and get a mixed drink. And a closed container to them is the paper on the top of the straw.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
it.
one.
And they'll
one little
hand it to
tape.
the one and put it in your car.
Oh.
Here, have a big time.
Yeah. I mean, every summer, our thing, we would go lay by the pool. And before the pool, we'd go get gallons of daiquiris. Because they'll give you a gallon through the drive through, and they'll give you a stack of cups with the
Right in
lids
your
and the
car.
straws just right in the car.
Isn't that great?
And let me tell you, I mean,
I wish we had that here. I think that would be
we're not
awesome.
waiting until we get home.
No.
Not the point of the
no,
drive-through, okay?
No, not at
God,
all.
I forgot. Yeah. I
the
forget that
first thing
other
I do.
people don't have that,
Nobody has that.
which is crazy. When I moved to California, I remember being at a bar and I walked out with my drink and they were like,
They flip out.
and I was like, well, I'm not done. Like, can I
You
have
can't even get it to
can I have a to-go cup?
No.
And they were like, excuse me? And
Yeah.
I was like, this makes no sense.
Yeah, that had to be a big culture shock going from Louisiana to LA because maybe even more so now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was just like, what is this
Because
world?
it's wide open.
Oh my gosh. It's all kinds of things.
So did you ever work on a movie set? I think you mentioned a couple of things early on that you had kind of assisted with.
I've been on a movie set. I've been on TV shows, a lot of TV shows. I can't remember. I've been on movie sets or I've had to go to like Paramount always, to drop
Work on
something
the
off.
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've always had to go work on the lot to drop off a look or get someone ready after they're filming and stuff like that all the time.
So what do you do in your off time?
I have a daughter who's about to turn 4. So just spend time with her. I'm coaching soccer.
Really?
I have no idea how to play soccer.
You just pass the ball
But
round and round and round.
They're 3 and 4.
Yeah.
They're 3 and 4.
Right.
So it's more about teamwork.
Keeping them from climbing the trees at that age.
Yeah, exactly. It's more about meltdowns, meltdown central. But that just started. But on my free time, I mean, I'm kind of become a homebody.
Yeah.
I like to just be with friends and hang out at home and be with my daughter. And, I'm kind of boring these days.
No. Don't be boring.
Oh, I don't
The
think
world's
I'm,
a big
I
place.
don't think I'm boring. I just think I was really fun in my 20s and 30s. And now I'm about to turn 40 and I'm just kind of chill.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Well, let me just throw this in. Last night, my wife and my daughter made their own bracelets. Like those little string
Yeah.
bracelets, and put little letters in,
Yeah.
and they could spell a word. And it was beautiful, just the two of them just sitting there doing that.
See, I love that.
It's a little tiny small story, and it may not seem like much, but it's huge.
Yeah.
So-
That's,
You didn't help?
I'm doing
I
things.
did not
I'm
help.
so disappointed.
I think that was better left to her in that case.
Did she have a bottle of wine while doing that?
No, she didn't, but
I think wine goes with
I
everything.
had a beer.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm like, that sounds like a great
Yeah,
wine
so
night.
That's cool.
Shoot, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so where's one place in the world that you want to go that you hadn't been?
Oh my gosh. Why would-
Milan?
I've been to Milan.
Okay, so it's not a big. It's just a little. It's just a
She's
little
already
New
been
York.
everywhere.
It's no big deal.
Greece?
Great.
I'm all about Greece.
Yeah.
Athens.
I haven't
yeah.
been to Greece.
Greek Isles.
Yeah. I've been, I've been to, there's places I want to go back. I want to go back to Paris.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Bora Bora,
Yeah.
which was phenomenal.
Where is that?
Like Polynesian islands,
Okay.
far away, crystal clear water.
Okay.
They have the little huts out in their little bay. I've seen the pictures
Yes.
of Bora Bora. I haven't been there.
Unbelievable.
We did a trip to Italy last year with the kids, and it was one of the most
Oh
amazing.
my gosh, I
experiences.
remember. How
And
was that?
It was awesome. We're going back for 3 weeks this summer, so we're going back over again and slowing the pace down to spend a little bit more time in the different regions and not be rushed so much.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, love
you know, Milan's a little bit overwhelming. I like the slower pace parts. You know, the Amalfi Coast.
I like to go off the beaten path and
yeah.
live like a local and, like Under the Tuscan Sun, that movie?
Oh yeah.
I always say that that's how I want to live.
But I could live if when America collapses, I'm just going to Italy.
Yeah. Oh, actually,
Yeah.
we are actually having these conversations now.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I heard you have to be fluent.
I don't think so. I think you
And
can
that's a
buy a place
problem
over,
for
but
me.
you have. And I had a Italian teacher that was coming to the house for about 6 months. It didn't take. It was rough.
Oh, I don't.
Can understand words.
I
you
tried.
said.
I've got little bits and things, but I've got to
Really?
refresh myself before we go back. It's
I-
like another language. It's really.
I
freaking
really
hard.
don't think I'm going to take that on. So that was the only speed bump.
But I think in Italy, if you do have a residence there, you're required to live there at least half of the year, especially if you're going to be a dual
Oh,
resident.
bummer.
I know. That would be awful.
Sucks.
Yeah. I love the culture, though. I mean, I love travel. We've been talking about going to Greece too because I haven't had a chance to go yet.
Yeah,
but,
that's on my list for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely. I've been doing research on the Greek Isles. Look absolutely
gosh.
amazing.
I can already think of my outfits.
Yeah, Athens is already. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's like just one of those major cities, though. It just looks just like another big city.
Yeah.
Been there a long freaking time is the only difference.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places. I haven't been to Paris yet.
No?
No, but Switzerland was really cool.
Oh, see, I haven't been there.
Switzerland's amazing. It's I can pick up bits and pieces. French is difficult. Spanish I can kind of navigate through. Italian I can navigate through a little bit. But like Switzerland is like 9 different languages that are just kind of merged in. So every place you go, and it's some of it's very guttural, like the German stuff, Slavic. But then you have some more things that are a little bit more on the Italian side. So it's just a hodgepodge of stuff. So it's confusing to me.
Well, have you ever heard a Cajun talk?
I haven't. I can understand most Cajuns.
You need to meet my uncle.
I mean, uncle. You say
You
you
need
just
to
went
meet-
Cajun.
you need to meet my Uncle
diverted back.
Dean,
You just
okay?
uncle. You just went.
Uncle
You just
Dean.
diverted back to Cajun right there. It came out, and you probably tried to block that off over the years. Just push that shit down. Let's get that away from me.
No, it comes out.
It does. It really
Yeah,
does.
it does.
Hey, I love it though. What a great culture. But I mean, I like traveling with the kids because I really like them to experience other cultures and the one thing I tell my kids when we travel is don't bring your American ideology with us when we travel. Assimilate. When in
Yes,
Rome, do as the
yes.
Romans do. Enjoy the food, enjoy the culture, enjoy
Absolutely.
the people. Don't
I love
think,
that you say that.
because I think that's very important because you can connect with people on such a better
Mm-hmm.
level if you don't come in there thinking that we're from America. And,
Absolutely.
I think that's why there's such animosity toward Americans because they bring that with them so many times when they travel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't want our energy.
No, they don't want our energy.
They do not need our energy. We need theirs.
Absolutely. And the thing about some of the culture, especially historical places, is they're most of them are very proud of the culture and the history of
Yeah.
what they have. Unlike us that seem to be destroying it at every turn. That's pretty sad. But I love going over to other places. I hadn't been to Spain yet. Have you been to Spain yet?
No.
Fashion stuff in England. Have you been to London?
I've been to London.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, have I been to London?
Yeah. Tell me about it.
I went to the Prince of Brunei's birthday party
Really?
in London. Okay. This was the most insane party I've ever been
And
to.
what did you wear?
I actually borrowed a dress from my friend and I ripped the whole entire thing dancing one night with Mariah Carey right here and Shaka Khan.
Rock on, girl.
And
That's awesome.
and Neo, we were having a dance off. This was the party, okay? This was the party. Oh, Janet Jackson was there too.
Yeah.
I was so drunk. And my heel caught on, it was like a kind of crochet knit, like little fitted maxi dress that actually people are wearing now again. But anyway, whole thing ripped. But anyway. Yeah, so London was great.
It sounds like it.
I could never go back to London after that trip. I'm done.
They took your passport.
No, it's just, it was so magical. Like I couldn't, I couldn't go back.
I'm gonna ask a stupid question. What's the
God.
tallest heel you've ever worn?
Oh, like 6 inches.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Why?
that was in my 20s.
Why?
Because that's just what you did when you walking in up to the club.
Did you do the
Trying
big?
to get
Did
in.
you do the big hair?
No, I didn't do that.
Never
There
did the
might have
big
been
hair?
a little tease, but no, I was never like adding like a little bump it or anything like that.
My big sister Wendy, when we were growing up, she wore heels all the time. She never wore tennis shoes. She would run in heels, and to the point that when she didn't have heels on, she walked around the house on her toes.
No way. My grandma was like that.
And she's done that so long that I don't think she can put her flat foot on the ground. I think her ankles have locked up where she's just jacked up like this all the time. Because she literally walked on her toes her whole life, as long as I've known her.
My
so she was
grandma
born to wear
didn't.
heels.
Yeah, some people they hurt now. Like, they just hurt me, and I mean, I'm working, like, where am I wearing heels?
I'm all about being comfortable. When you
Like,
get older, I'm just about comfort.
Me too. But also, like, could you see me walking up here in heels with your suits?
No, but I think as a young woman, I sometimes you just want to be as tall as you can.
Yeah.
I've got a question. I can't let this go.
Come on, bring it, Junior.
Oh, God, I'm scared.
So you're talking about having this dance off with Janet Jackson,
He's going back there.
Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
You rip your whole...
And I'm not just saying this. I can put pictures up. I hit the album on Facebook.
I believe you, but you said you ripped your whole dress.
Well, not the
As you-
whole.
so-
Like,
so I was gonna say,
not on the dance floor.
I was just saying, so what did you do?
Throughout the night. Okay, I don't remember most of it, but no,
Like
I'm
you
just
stand there
kidding.
dancing, you rip your whole dress off. There's Mariah
No,
Carey
it
and
was-
Janet Jackson. What do you do?
It was all the bottom started,
Okay.
you know,
right.
and I probably just made it like a fashion statement at that point, you know. It was like a
Just kept dancing.
little fishtail gown, you know. But that part of the night, no one really cared.
Just drink another drink.
Yeah, and no one cared about me, considering the clientele that was there. Yeah,
That sounds like a hell of a party.
y'all, it was the most insane thing I've ever been to in my whole life. Like, insane. So I don't know if y'all know about the Prince of Brunei. Like, he was famous. He actually passed away not that long ago, maybe 2 years ago. But like, his family owned like the Beverly Hills Hotel, like all these places, and he was known for throwing the most lavish parties. And he always like flew Mariah Carey down, like would give her like these crazy diamond rings as like an invite, and then like would fly all these stars. So like, it was like exclusive guest list. Everyone's flown out to London. You like arrive at this countryside, like huge villa home, and there's like Range Rovers, like 50 of them just lined up, like for your own personal driver when you're like ready to go anywhere. You're greeted with champagne, and then Mariah Carey comes through the door. And then it's just like, I'm like, what is happening?
That's awesome.
Like, this is not real. And this, y'all, do you know how popular I would have been if Instagram was out? I would be, oh my gosh, I'd be freaking trending or whatever y'all call it. But
I don't know what they call all that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a whole
I would break the
different world
internet
already.
with my Instagram if they would have had it then.
So, what's the coolest party you've been to in Nashville? After an award show or something? I'm sure I don't go to a lot of them anymore, but
I like after award shows. And I like seeing, like, it's been really nice, like, probably like Vegas after Jason has won, you know, like Artist of the Year or something like that. Like, that's been really fun. I don't find myself partying as much when I'm working because I just don't like, I want to have that balance and that respect
absolutely.
between my clients, and until, like, you know, you get into a relationship where, okay. But, yeah, I mean, the parties here are just more, you go with your group, you know,
Yeah,
like your crew. And
well, and labels have their own thing, so they're all
and you're kind of pulled in off,
segregated out
Yeah.
in their own little world,
kind of pulled in different directions and stuff. And it's a small town.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So, where you're sitting in your career and everything right now, everything good? Not looking to do anything else? Not looking to make a move?
No, everything's good, except I feel like I've wanted to slow down and kind of just keep a handful of clients. Because motherhood was something I wasn't expecting. And it's something that, like, obviously I'm passionate about. And, you know,
absolutely.
now it's like a whole different schedule that you have. So I feel like for the first time, I don't have to, like, be the biggest, be the celebrity of, like, you know, how you always think you should be, like in the Hollywood Reporter. I wish I would, you know. But anyway, I'm lucky enough to get paid and to pay my bills by doing this job. So I feel like as long as I love who I'm working with, I've kind of like stepped back from, you know, taking on new people or new artists. And, you know, I'm like, maybe my next step would having a store in Nashville, or, you know, where I still am styling or have clients come in. But I see something as my daughter grows older, like maybe a clothing line or
I wonder how difficult it is to, because I've known some people that have opened box stores and stuff and try to do that along with their wardrobe consulting and all that. It's tough.
Yeah.
I guess if you were doing more design stuff, because what I notice is, and pretty much box stores on every aspect, people come in, shop around, and then they search for it online with their phone in their hand, and they buy
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
So, but if
online
you have
is-
those specialty products, I mean, you'd kind of be outside of that world.
Yeah, I think online is the way to go. But, you know, you can have something. Nashville's such a traffic tourist city. So you have to,
Well, but
you know.
we lost like 2 old hippies downtown. But COVID, I think
That
COVID
was-
killed that. That
that
really
was
hit
sad.
me hard. Yeah, it was very sad.
That was,
yeah.
that's when I was
But I
like,
think
man,
COVID killed them. I just don't think they
I
could
just
survive.
don't understand.
I don't either. So I think there's place in it. You know, like Posh and some of the other things.
Yeah. I just,
some
my
of-
thing is, I'm not going to be in a store every day. So it would have to, I don't know. I don't know, actually, what my next chapter. I always had just, I'm styling, I'm this and that. But now it's like, okay, I just want these clients that I know I can do a good job with. I know we work well together, you know, because it's personalities and
Yeah.
all this stuff. And then be able to be a mom and not.
which is the most important part.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the most important to me right now, too. And I have boundaries with that now.
Well, I know we have some time crunches, and we are going to work on fitting me for the ACM Awards that are coming up
Yes.
very soon. So I think you brought some things for me to
Yep.
try on.
Yep.
I promise I've been going to the gym. It don't look like it, but I know I have. I promise. It gets harder
Well,
when
we
you get
will
older.
see, okay?
It's harder when you get older.
Well, good for you because I don't go to the gym.
I do. I try so
I just-
hard.
I walk my dog.
That counts. I do
They-
that
does.
too.
They say as long
You
as
get-
you walk
you-
20 to 30 minutes a day.
That's right.
Get your steps in.
Count that.
I mean, we get our steps in. Y'all saw us, you know, hauling,
Yeah. And
slinging clothes all day.
I hope we get to use some of that footage of Junior and Scotty bringing
Yeah.
the wardrobe rack up
Oh.
the stairs of the bus. Because we're
Please
going to have
do.
to find a place to put all that stuff in. But thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I've wanted to sit down and visit with you a
Thank
little bit,
you.
and thank you for always making me look good when I go out in public.
Of
except for
course.
right now.
No, it's great. I love the American flag and the running shoes it's great.
Yeah, it's just me being comfortable. Cherie Kilchrist.
Thank you.
And we're going to do some fitting now and try some clothes on. Peace out.
So we
Okay.
could like pick out your favorite Armani, throw it on, but we'll have measurements, and then that way we can have, because Armani did send these for you to try first. So we can always like go back to Armani and say we need different sizing, we need different, since we have a little bit of time. So we can just kind of go over that and then we'll get your measurements
Okay.
and then know what our go-to is. The fun part.
Start on the shoulder.
Need new boots, or do you have boots you want to wear?
I've got a pair of black saltwater crocodile that are a roper style. And then I've got a brown pair of loop cases that are more of a higher heel, not a pointed toe, a rounded kind of pointed toe.
That's the same one at the end. This is just a smaller size that I thought you would
Yep.
like these two.
So let's put a white shirt on. Dang, that looks nice.
This is going to be in this one.
It'll just like, it'll be a
Sleeve length is great.
not, you know.
Chest needs a little bit bigger, and I'm gonna be hitting the gym pretty hard between now and the award time. So
You look good.
So,
sleeve length is great.
you just start.
I have my shirt stuff.
It looks really
It always
beautiful.
has. I just,
It's a good length, like, yeah.